Hello everybody, we are here for round 7 of BBB Champion Series. We are here in Bahrain, and of course this is the full Bahrain track layout. It will be, once again, a short qualifying, which will be 18 minutes, and then a 50% distance race, which will be 27 laps if I'm not wrong. And we had a great race last week, so I'm hoping for some more great action this week. Of course, Bahrain is a good track for overtaking, and I have seen some great battles here before, so hopefully these drivers can carry that on into this race as we wait for the drivers to pick their tire compounds now, whether they like to go softer or harder or balanced for the weekend layout. I think most people will go softer to give them the chance to do 4 runs in qualifying, or if they don't have time, they can, of course, have a spare set of softs for the race. But we've loaded in now, and we're waiting for the drivers to put their setups on, get their cars tweaked to the way they like it, and go out for their first qualifying run. I'm going to try and find some statistics here. So, last weekend in Britain, it was NSX Montana who won, doing the reverse strategy. Qualifying was in the wet, of course, so most people did start on mediums. And he won from Slippery Cucumber and NSX Connor, who rounded out the podium. And NSX did score the most points of any team last race. And I do have the drivers' standings here. Now, NSX Connor actually is in the lead of the championship, followed by his teammate NSX Montana. And then, of course, Slippery Cucumber in third. So it seems like the championship will be between Montana and Connor, with 2 races to go in the season. And Cucumber is in a battle for third as well, with TTG Leadus. As the Haas and the McLaren getting a bit racy on their outlaps as they prep the tires. You don't want to go too fast because you will overheat the tires and they won't be in an optimal temperature window for your hot lap. You cannot do 2 runs in a row here like you could last weekend in the rain. So getting a lap time down on the board is crucial. You don't want to invalidate. You want to keep it clean, especially for your first lap. You need to get a banker lap, or else qualifying will be a very difficult task. Just going to get everything set up here. First car to start the lap is an AlphaTauri, and that's Axel. Sorry, it's the other AlphaTauri, it's Kobe. As he comes up to turn 1 now, he's on the medium compound tires, which is interesting. The reverse strategy, especially around Bahrain, is probably the most overpowered track for it. So you might see some drivers aiming for P11 to start on those hard tires and switch over to the mediums at about lap 18. That is the best strategy for this track, which is what these drivers might be doing. But Kobe comes through turn 7, nice and clean, breaking into turn 8. He stays in 3rd gear. Some people do drop down an extra couple of gears just to get the rotation, but he's staying in a high gear, just keeping it clean and getting a banker lap on the board. He might have a bit of traffic here from the 2 Red Bulls, who are both on their outlaps, I believe. As, of course, Kobe goes purple through the middle sector, as he is the first one to do the middle sector, because he was the first one to do a lap. But he comes through the final corner now, 4th gear. You don't want to use that curb too much. And we're going to see just what the bar is for the lap times here today, and he does a 26.2, but that's immediately taken away by Linus, who does a 24.7. Not a bad lap at all, especially for a banker lap. And immediately Montana goes even quicker, so Montana into provisional pole, purple in all sectors, and that is a very Montana thing to see. And he should be on a cooldown lap now. He is, as he turns the battery down just to save it, and probably come into the pits at the end of this lap. tell us about my new setup. So, yeah, if you don't know me, I have gotten a new setup for myself. I am very fortunate to have it. It's a SimLab cockpit with a triple screen monitor setup and SimUQ base, Heisenfeld pedals, and a Sim Racing Bay GT3 wheel. Not to forget, there is a motion simulator as well, which is absolutely insane. But we're not going to look too much into that because we're focused on the cars on track right now. There is a Red Bull coming up to the line. I think that's Yano. And he's coming out of the final corner. He's starting his lap right now, and his teammate down in 18th place. Oh, he sets a valid lap, but his ERS was off. So I would assume he backed off, and now he's going again, braking into turn 1 using second gear. And then you want to use all of the curb into turn 2 and on the exit of turn 3. And TTG Tom, his teammate in the Red Bull, has actually gone second overall with a 1 minute 24.6. And Yano gets a clean line through turn 4, and he carries a lot of speed into the entry of turn 5, but it does compromise him slightly on the exit, but he brakes into turn 8, and he gets the car rotated in second gear. Now coming into this off-camber, difficult corner, very easy to lock up the front right, but he gets the car rotated. And now he powers down the back straightaway, DRS wide open. And you power up the gears up into 8th gear, braking 75 meters for turn 11. And now you climb up the hill through turn 12, flat out if you get the line right. You don't want to touch the curb on the inside because it will spin the car around. And he's gone purple through the middle sector actually, so he's on a flying lap right now, using all of that exit curb through turn 13. And now he approaches the final couple of corners. It really is one corner, but it's considered as two because on the exit you jolt back to the right. And he's a bit under the limit there, but he does just want to keep it valid. And he comes to the line and he goes 7th fastest. His teammate is diving into the pit lane right now as well. And there's a Renault coming up to the line. It's URL Black Box, and he's coming into the pit lane as well. Not many cars on the lap right now, I believe. We're gonna jump back down to Slippery Cucumber. He finished in second place last time out in Britain, and he is definitely one of the quicker drivers out here, so I would expect him to be up near the front of the grid. Of course, for a different track it could defer to what his pace looks like, but he's on a lap right now. He's on the medium tires, whereas a lot of the people are on the softs. And he gets a nice run out of the final corner. DRS wide open. He was a bit late there, but he goes 10th fastest with a 1 minute 25.8. And that's actually a very good position because P11 here is basically pole. If you start on the white tires, of course, the hard compound tires. But he turns off his battery and he'll be going for a cool down lap. He has an AlphaTauri behind him. And that's Axel. I'm not sure if he's in the way. Axel seems to be on an in-lap as well because he did a 1 minute 26.4. There's a Ferrari coming to the line right now, and that's Linus. He's in 5th place with a 24.7, just a couple of hundredths off 4th. And he'll be looking to put that car on the front row of the grid. We're gonna stick with him for now, as the back end steps out on him a little bit as he comes through turn 2. But we get a nice shot of that Ferrari as he comes down into turn 4. Of course, in real life, the Ferrari wasn't so great in 2020. But in the game, it's all about the driver with these equal performance cars. As he comes into turn 8, breaks into first gear, which is what a lot of drivers I would expect to do, just to get the car rotated. And now he comes into this difficult off-cambered couple of corners, but he hits the curb on the inside and he loses the rear end. It steps away from him, and I would expect that lap to be just about over, and it is. He turns the ERS off, and he'll be looking to save up that battery and maybe go again on these tires, or maybe he could pit and strap on a set of fresh tires. We're gonna jump to Montana because He's on provisional pole right now with a 1 minute 24.4, which is a fine lap, but of course he will be looking to improve. It's the Haas taking an interesting line through turn 6. Not to worry because they are all on an out lap. As you see some of these drivers flickering the DRS on and off down the straight just to make sure that it's well and working, because you can in this game sometimes get a DRS failure, which you definitely don't want to happen to you. NSX Connor actually, he's down in 15th place. He's yet to set a lap time. He has set an official lap time, but that is nowhere near where you want to be. Just 12 seconds off the pace, but of course he is one of the fastest drivers here, so he will look to fight back in the last 8 minutes of the session, and he'll be looking to put that car on the front row of the grid. But we're gonna jump back to Montana. He's on the softs, and he's starting his second lap now. He's on provisional pole, but he will be looking to improve, and we're gonna ride on board down into turn 1, braking just before the 100-meter board, taking a bit of that white line on the entry to turn 1, using all of the curb through turn 2, and letting the car roll out wide on the exit curve of turn 3. Coming down into turn 4, the brake board is gone, and he actually broke quite a bit early, so maybe a bit of a distraction there. But now you come through this fast section of corners of turn 5, 6, and now the left-hander of turn 7. He gets the car through there very smoothly. Took a nice line. Now into turn 8, he brakes down into first gear just to get the rotation, and then short shifting to third to get the power down. He takes a tight entry into turn 9, which is quite surprising. You see a lot of drivers go wide and then get the exit, but he got a fantastic run through there nonetheless. Now he's in the run up to turn 4, and you want to brake just about 75 meters. Use a bit of the inside curb, but not too much because it will unsettle the car. You let the car roll out wide, and URL Black Box has gone second, and he's gone purple through the middle sector, has Montana as the Racing Point, maybe giving him a bit of a tow. But he's coming down to the final corner now. There's 6.5 minutes left in the session. Can Montana improve on his time and extend his lead on provisional pole position? He gets a nice run through the final couple of corners, and it's a run up to the line, and he does a 1 minute 24.3, purple in all sectors, and he does improve, and he extends his lead out in provisional pole position, just clear by a 10th. TTG Tom, don't count him out. He's coming up to the line now. He is on a hot lap. He's ran out of battery just before the line, and he does a 1 minute 24.4. I'm not actually sure if he improved, but he is on the second row of the grid, and behind him is the Williams. And Linus is starting his lap now in the Ferrari. We're going to stick with him because he's in 5th place. And there definitely is time to gain. We saw him lose the rear end out of turn 10 on his lap, which definitely cost him a couple of tenths. But he's going again into turn 4. You brake just about 80 meters. Of course, the braking board is gone, so it's a bit more difficult to spot your braking point. But he comes through turn 5, and now through turn 6, carries a lot of speed through this fast section of corners. Now braking into turn 8, and he stays in second gear. He runs a little bit out wide, but he does get the power down nice and smoothly. Now coming into the off-camber corners of turn 9 and turn 10, he does take a wide entry to prepare the exit, which is what a lot of the drivers do, whereas Montana took a tight entry, which sacrificed his exit speed, but he carried a lot of speed on entry and on the apex, which might have overall gained him a bit more time. But it's flat out through turn 12, and there's no real reference into turn 13. He has a little bit of traffic there, and he's gone fastest through the middle sector, so Linus definitely on a good lap right now, and he will be looking to put that car on the front row of the grid. Braking into the final corner, he's using third gear, whereas a lot of the drivers stay in 4th. He short shifts to 5th, and now the run up to the line, and he goes 4th, fastest, just 2 milliseconds off Tom, and he is on the second row of the grid. I'm not sure if he'll have time to go again. He just might, but it will be tight. Tom's coming into the pits. He will have time to do another run. So will Black Box, and so will Montana, the top 3. But the shock of the session so far, as Fire Cop starts his lap halfway through the first sector, braking at just about 80 meters, clipping that curb on the inside, but not too much, or else it will unsettle the car. And he's on a 1 minute 25 right now, 1 minute 25.9, but he can definitely improve on that. But the shock of the session so far is NSX Connor. He's yet to set a lap time. He has set a lap time, but it's not really a lap time because it is only a 1 minute 36.1. And he is one of the faster drivers on the grid, so I would be expecting him to be up in the front row. But right now he's down in 17th, so maybe he's going to start from last and see where he can go from there. Or maybe he's just waiting to the last possible second to go out and set a hot lap. Of course, it will be risky because he doesn't really have a real banker time, so it's got to be all or nothing. But if it is nothing, he'll be starting second to last, maybe last if Lynx does set a lap. Or he could be aiming to go P11, because that is the best place to start for this track. It is essentially strategic pole position, but really you have a massive advantage out of the drivers in the top 10. And he's still in the pit lane. He doesn't have a ton of time. He's got to go now or never. And there he is. He's coming out of the pit lane now on the soft tires. And it will be interesting to see what he's going to do if he aims for P11 or if he goes for pole position as he lets the Racing Point through. And that's Yazzo. And he's just starting his hot lap. And it looks like he ran a little bit wide through turn 3. But we're going to ride on board, and he has abandoned. He's turned his ERS off, and he'll be looking to preserve his tires throughout the rest of this lap. Go one more time at the end. But the top 3 coming out of the pit lane now, and they're all on their outlaps. That's Tom, Black Box, and Montana. They are in the top 3, and all 3 of them will be looking to get pole position. Montana is the furthest up the road. He's about to start his lap, and it's going to be all or nothing. He is one of the fastest drivers here, and he'll be looking to do a low 1 minute 24. Maybe, just maybe, we'll look into the 1 minute 23s as we get a nice shot there, seeing just how fast these 2020 Formula 1 cars are. Of course, they are the fastest cars in Formula 1 history. As he gets a smooth run through the first sector, through the first couple of corners. Now up into turn 4, we're going to ride on board because we're in the final 40 seconds of qualifying now, and this is the final shootout for pole position. We're going to ride on board with Montana as he comes through turn 5, 6, and 7. He's very quick through there, and now he's braking into turn 8. He uses second gear this time, whereas on his last lap he used first gear. And now let's see what he's going to do. He takes a tight entry like we saw on the last lap as well, but he does get the exit nailed, and he should be up in his time right now as he's powering down the back straightaway. DRS wide open, and we're just about to see what his sector time is going to look like as he comes into turn 11. He gets the car rotated. You want to let it roll out wide, but not too wide, or else you will lose too much time. And he's gone fastest in the middle sector, so he is improving on his time right now, and this is the shootout for pole position. And here comes Montana down the back straightaway, and he'll be looking to improve on his provisional pole and stick it on actual pole. And he comes out of the final corner. He gets a nice run. DRS wide open. Let's see what the lap time is going to look like. And he does a 1 minute 24.0. Purple in the first, second, and third sector. We're going to jump to Black Box because he is one of few drivers that can challenge for pole. Tom is also on a lap. He's coming down the back straightaway right now. We're going to ride on board, braking just about 75 meters into turn 11, taking a bit of that inside curve. He runs out a bit wide, and the back end stepped out on him a little bit. You don't want to touch this curve on the inside. It will unsettle the car. Braking into turn 13. He gets a smooth run through there. And can Tom challenge for pole position? Montana's done a fantastic lap, but it's not done yet. Tom coming to the final corner, braking into third gear, clipping that inside curb, short shifting to fourth to minimize the wheel spin, and he comes to the line. And what's the lap time going to be? It's a 1 minute 24.2, and we're gonna jump to black box because he's coming out of the final corner as well. Can he have a say in pole? Cucumber goes third. Here comes black box to the line, and he goes second, and he splits Montana and Tom, and he puts that Renault on the front row of the grid, and that'll do it for qualifying. I want to see where Connor qualified. He wasn't anywhere near the top 5, so it will be interesting to see now. And he's done exactly what he wanted to do. Not exactly, but obviously, considering he is one of the faster drivers here, and seeing that 1 minute 25.1, that's not his true pace. He was definitely aiming for P11. Of course, P11 is a fantastic place to start for this track especially. But P12, not bad either. And essentially, this is P1 and P2. Of course, Montana is a very fast driver. But the tire difference here is just so huge. If you start on the hards, you can either go to lap 17 or 18 to the mediums, or extend to lap 20 for the softs. Either way, it's a fantastic strategy. And you will definitely gain back the time lost in the first half of the race. As we wait for the drivers now to ready up, there's not many changes you can do to the setup. You can change a couple of things. You can change the angle of the front wing. You can go lower to give you a bit more straight line speed, but it will give you a bit more understeer. Or you can go higher, which will minimize the straight line speed, but it will give you a bit more downforce in the corners. You can also change your differential, which is crucial when it comes to rotating the car. And you can also change your tire pressures. But I would think every driver goes all the way to the left in all 4 of those categories. And it seems like we're on the grid now, and we wait for the formation lap to go underway. And we have a quick second here to drink some water and get ready for the start. It is Montana on pole, followed by URL Black Box, followed by Tom and Cucumber. And Cucumber, of course, in Britain, into turn 1, he qualified 3rd last week, and immediately into the first corner he took the lead, which could be a sign that he has some really good starts. So maybe he'll be looking to pick up a couple of positions in the run up to turn 1. And we're gonna have a look at the tires now. The predicted pit stop strategy, of course, Bahrain is not a 2-stop. It could be a 2-stop if some safety cars come into play, but regularly it is a 1-stop. And we are going to have a look at the tires now. And that's actually a surprise. Obviously, 11th place of Lynx is elected to go on the hards, as well as Connor in P12. But behind them, everybody's gone on the mediums, except for Fire Cop, who is in last. And starting on the mediums here is still a bit better than starting on the softs, but the medium runners will still have to go to the hards, so it's not the best strategy. But the hard runners, of course, in 11th and 12th, will have a massive dent in the race later on, because when you switch on to the fresh mediums or fresh softs towards the end, they are just way too powerful, and the worn hard runners just can't do anything about it. But they line up on the grid now, and we look to get underway for the Bahrain Grand Prix. Here we are. Everybody's lining up on the grid now. The last car to approach the grid is the McLaren of Fire Cop. And there he comes to a stop. So the grid is set. And we're about to get underway for the Bahrain Grand Prix. The lights start to come on now. And the fifth light goes out. And it's lights out. And away we go. It's a great start from Cucumber. And he's side by side with Tom in the run up to turn 1. There goes the Renault. He's on the right hand side of the Alfa Romeo of Montana. He goes down the inside into turn 1 and he takes the lead. Montana's going to try and fight back, but the Red Bull and the Williams side by side as well. And they're going to go side by side through turn 3. But Cucumber has to back out of that one. Black Box into the lead, but he is under pressure from Montana. Side by side between the Williams and the Red Bull into turn 4. Sweeping round the outside is Tom. Linus making up a couple of positions as well. He's overtaken Axel, and he's up into 4th place. Further down the order, BBB Jake Marsh is up into 8th. And there goes the Williams on the AlphaTauri into turn 8 as well. But there goes the Racing Point, and Marsh has made the move on the Williams. They made a bit of contact, and they're side by side now in the run up to turn 9. And it's starting to settle down a little bit, and I need to catch my breath. The Haas looked for a move into turn 9, but he just had to back out of that one. We're going to jump back up to the front. A couple of position changes. Montana started on pole, now he's into 2nd place. Cucumber has dropped back. Where is he? He's in 10th. I don't know what happened to him. He was in 4th place, now he's in 10th, but he's looking for a move on the Haas. They go side by side into turn 13. They skim wheels a little bit. Oh, and there's a crash in the background, and an Alfa Romeo. Connor's out. He's out of the race. No, he's kept it, but his front wing is damaged, and he's gonna have to box for repairs. He spun off on the exit of turn 13, a bit too happy with the throttle, and now he finds himself in last, having to do a pit stop. And that has absolutely ruined his race in the first lap. And the grid is a bit messed up right now. It's really hard to follow. Black Box getting a bit loose on the exit of turn 3. This is going to allow Montana to be right on the back of him. Into turn 4, he's going to have a look up the inside, but he just has to back out of that one. And the Red Bull follows close behind as well. But this battle is far from over. Montana right in the dirty air of the Renault, which compromised him slightly through that fast section of corners, but he is holding on right now. And that is a painful start for Connor. He was in a great position. He was in 12th on the hard tires, but now he's down in last on those mediums. And that is definitely not how he would have wanted it to play out. Tom is looking for a little move down the inside of Montana, but he wasn't close enough. You need to be within half a tenth. You need to be fully alongside, actually, if you want to go for a move there, or else it's just a bit too risky. But Montana gets a bit loose through turn 13, and this train is like follow the leader. So if the guy in first moves, everybody behind follows to stay within that DRS train, stay within the slipstream. Linus follows close behind as well. As we run up to turn 1 for the 3rd time. Montana's not using any battery. He stays behind Black Box for now. And the AlphaTauri has a little look up the inside of the Ferrari. He clunks a bit of curb. That's going to compromise him. The Williams, Piccone right on the back of him now, but he got a bit too close, and he had to back off, or else he would have ran into the back of him. Kobe is struggling to find grip. Cucumber down the inside of the Haas into turn 4, and he's into 9th place, but has he gone too deep? Will the Haas be able to fight it back through turn 5? No. And Cucumber back up into 9th place. As this train is starting to form, it's quite a big train. There's just about 10 cars within it right now. And then in 11th place is Yano, who started on the mediums, and Lynx, who qualified on strategetic pole in 11th on the hards, is down in 12th. Struggling for grip in the first couple of laps, but there goes Montana! And he makes the move on Black Box into turn 11, and I don't think Black Box is going to fight it too hard, because he will have the DRS coming down this back straightaway, and in this DRS train you don't want to be leading too much, or else you will be swamped by many cars behind. But for the 4th time, the first lap with DRS, or actually maybe the 2nd lap with DRS, but the first time we get it down this back straightaway, Black Box gets a bit loose on the exit, but here we go, down into turn 1, he's using overtake, and he's gonna look for the move on Montana. He looks left, he looks right, he goes to the inside, and he brakes as late as he can to make the move, and the Red Bull tries to follow through as well. They make a bit of contact, they're side by side through turn 2, and the Ferrari's trying to make the move on the Red Bull as well. They're still side by side, and this is fantastic. The Red Bull has to defend from the Ferrari. They're nearly 3 wide, and the Alfa Romeo goes to the left to cover off the Red Bull, and they're gonna go nearly 3 wide into turn 4, and there goes the Red Bull round the outside of the Red Bull. They're side by side, they make a bit of contact, and they're still side by side through turn 6, and this is a fantastic battle. And there he goes into turn 8. There goes the Ferrari as well down the inside, and the AlphaTauri wanting a move as well. The Renault and the Ferrari still side by side in the run up to turn 9, and I'm losing my voice. I need to have a sip of water because this battle is absolutely crazy. So many cars fighting for position now, and there goes the AlphaTauri. He's looking for a move on Axel, but he has to back out on this occasion. And wow, what a great battle going on right now. I'm trying to follow as best as I can, and I'm already losing my voice a little bit, so I need to have a little sip of water if I want to keep this up. The front now is 7/10 between the top 3, so Montana might have just about enough of a lead to stay ahead, and he does. Tom already down to 30% battery. And there goes Piccioni, the Williams, on the AlphaTauri into turn 1, but he's not going to give up, says Kobe, and they're going to go side by side through turn 3. And now we get a nice shot of all these cars following the leader down into turn 4. There goes the Williams up the inside, and he picks up 6th place, but has he gone too deep? Oh! And the AlphaTauri, Kobe spun! And he's done a Sebastian Vettel, and he's put it in the wall on the exit of turn 4, being overtaken to the outside. And that was a driver error. He didn't get pinched. He just spun it a bit too trigger happy with the throttle, and he's lost his front wing. Actually, yes, he has lost his front left end plate. Very unfortunate for Kobe. But don't give up. There is a long race ahead, and anything can happen. But we're going to jump back up to the front now, as we see some great battling going on. Montana has 6/10 to Tom, which should be just about enough to hold on. But if Tom decides to drain his battery, then he could get him. But he's only on 40%, so I don't think he wants to use too much. I think he wants to save. But at this pace, Montana could break the DRS, so he has to use a little bit, which he is. And Montana's red light is actually flashing, so that's a sign showing he's even lower on the battery than Tom. Of course, the red light starts to flash at about 20%. But here comes Tom now, into turn 4. Montana stays to the left-hand side. Very late on the brakes from Tom, and he goes down the inside to make a little bit of contact, and they're going to go side by side through turn 5. But the Red Bull backs out of that one, and he lets the Alfa Romeo go through, but he gets loose, and he runs wide. This is going to allow the Renault to go for it into turn 8, but he backs out. He looked for the move up the inside, but it just wasn't there. The Red Bull covered him off, and the Renault sits behind in 3rd place, and that allows Montana to pull 8/10 to those two. This battle is heating up, and this is shaping up to be a very exciting race. It has been in the first 6 laps so far. Linus following close behind Black Box as well. Further down, Axel just 4/10 behind Lynx. Lynx on the hard tires into 10th place, so this is a good position for him to be in. No drivers have a penalty so far. As the top 8 are on softs, and then 9th on the mediums, and 10th Lynx on the hards. But Montana, he's coming to the pit lane. I'm not sure why there's yellow flags, because the Racing Point has spun it, and Marsh has spun it out of the final corner, and he's coming into the pits as well. So now it's time to push, but there goes Black Box. He's looking for the move, and actually he's been overtaken by Linus, but the battle's not done yet. He's right on the back, but he can't gain too much. Linus defends the inside line, and the Renault's going to try and go all the way around the outside into turn 4. Renault versus Ferrari, but the Ferrari squeezes him out, and he into second place. And I apologize if my voice cracked a little bit there. I'm just trying to make it as exciting as I can, And Connor down in 16th place has overtaken Marsh coming out of the pit lane. I'm not sure why Marsh went to the softs, but Nigel's out! He's crashed! Where's his car? And there's a safety car! And he's crashed on the entry to turn 9. He's in the wall. And he's lost his tire. And there is a safety car. So this is going to work out great for everybody who stayed out, because they get a free pit stop now. And that worked out horribly for Montana. You came in 1 lap too early. So he's going to be down in like maybe 8th place after everybody gets their free pit stop. And I would expect everybody to go to the hards now. We gotta stick to the Delta, but Tom is getting in there quickly because a lot of cars are coming in. He doesn't want to get held, but I'm sure some drivers will get held. Perhaps the Ferrari, because he's the first one in, and there is a ton of cars. Oh no! And Ferrari has to double stack! And Axel's gonna lose nearly 10 seconds, and he's gonna lose multiple positions, and that is very unfortunate. He had to pit, because if he pitted next lap, he'd lose out even more. That double stack has costed him a handful of positions. Montana goes through, he's into 4th, so he didn't lose out too much, but he did lose the lead. And Lynx, of course, on the hards, stayed out because he doesn't have any tires to go to that would make it to the end. And he still has another stop to do. And why is that? Why has Montana gone to the mediums? Montana pitted 1 lap before the safety car, and this is indicating he's going to do a 2-stop because the mediums will not go to the end. So maybe he'll go medium, or maybe he'll go medium soft. But Black Box and Cucumber have gone to the mediums as well. So that's very surprising. All 3 of them will have another stop to do. And that just makes this race ever more interesting. Connor not out of the race just yet. And I would assume he puts on the hards at the end of this lap. The safety car allows everybody to catch up and allow the people in last who have had some bad luck to catch back up to the pack. The safety car is a good chance for me to catch my breath, because the battling that's going on right now is fantastic, and I'm trying to keep with it as best as I can. And this also allows the drivers to save some fuel and some battery, so they can go hard again. Safety car comes in. They should come in at the end of this lap, because just about everybody's caught up now, except for Kobe. Kobe is quite far back. He's just coming through turn 12. And Connor, of course, coming into the pits to strap on the hards and go to the end of the race. And he is very quick, so he'll try and cut through the field and make his way back up to the points. And a few drivers still have to do another stop. Lynx, of course, on the reverse strategy. Unfortunately, it's not going to work out too great, because everybody who started on the softs got a free pit stop. But he could still do some damage later on. Montana also having to pit, as well as Black Box and Cucumber. Everybody watching, make sure to like the video. Of course, I'm not streaming on the official BBB channel. I'm streaming on my own personal channel, where I post some of my clips. I post some hot laps. I might start posting reviews on sim racing equipment now that I have a brand new setup. So subscribe to my channel. It would help me out a lot. I'm trying to grow my channel, and I would really, really appreciate it. But no more self-advertisement right now, because I think the safety car will come in at the end of this lap. We haven't got the indication so far, but as I say that, we do get the indication. The safety car is coming in at the end of this lap. So these drivers on the hards swerving to get as much temperature into the tires as they can. Of course, the drivers on the mediums will have a bit more heat on the softer compound, and they will maybe have a look to overtake on the hard runners. But it's Lynx who leads from Tom, who's in a net P1, from Linus, of course, in net P2. But we're going to wait for Lynx to go. He can wait till the checkered flag, but you can't go and stop. And he does decide to go. And he hasn't caught Tom off too much. He's swerving to the right to break the toe. And everybody's swerving to get some heat into the tires. And he's moving twice, but he stays in the lead into turn 1. But there goes the Red Bull! Very late on the brakes. He looks up the inside. Maybe that was a bit of lag going on as well, because he didn't make the move. The Alfa Romeo, Montana getting a bit loose through turn 3. And everybody's being clean so far, no naughty behavior. And the McLaren in the background, looking for a move on the racing point. He goes up the inside, and he nearly hits the AlphaTauri. And Kobe is retired in the pit lane. I thought he crashed. But they seem to be going out clean so far. And Montana's made the move on Linus. I'm trying to flick to it. He's gone down the inside into turn 8, but he backs out, and he's still in 4th place. I was struggling to find the camera there. Yano and Connor side by side as well through turn 9. And this is from 13th place, but they're battling very, very hard. They're gonna go side by side through turn 8. They make contact though! And Connor has nearly spun around. He's made a miraculous save, and he's kept the car on the road. And there goes the McLaren down the inside of Yano, but he has to back out. He got pinched onto the curb. And there goes BBB Jake Marsh down the inside into turn 13. But he doesn't make it stick. And we're gonna jump back up to the front because Montana 2 tenths behind Linus, and he's gonna have a superior run. He's gonna be in the slipstream. If he has the straight line speed, he will be able to do it. And he's right on the back of the Ferrari now. He's using overtake. The Ferrari defends the inside line. Late on the brakes for Montana, and he sweeps around the outside, but he's gone a bit too deep. And that's gonna allow the Ferrari to stay ahead. And Montana getting pinched onto that curb. They're losing a bit of the time to the top 2. He's using overtake. And late on the brakes into turn 4, the Ferrari leaves him the space. And that is Linus who locks up. He goes a bit wide. And that's Montana on those mediums up into 3rd place. He has another stop to do, so he needs to overtake these drivers now or never, or else he'll lose too much time. And when he goes into the pits again, he won't be able to catch back up. But we've seen some great racing so far in the race. I'm really enjoying this right now. Much more exciting than real Formula 1. Although France, to be fair, was quite an exciting race so far. But there goes Linus on Montana. He had a look up the inside, but he had to back out. And fighting for P9 is Axel and Dylan, both on the hards, going to the end of the race. They're scrapping away for 9th place. Dylan goes a little bit wide through turn 12, which will allow Axel to be right on the back of him down this back straightaway. But again, we're going to jump back up to the front because they come out of the final corner. Lynx gets a bit loose. DRS might be enabled this lap. It's not enabled. It will be enabled, but you won't have it in the run up to turn 1. You'll have it down into turn 4. The Renault defends, but Tom has too much straight line speed. He goes to the outside, and they're going to go side by side into turn 1. The Renault now on the outside into turn 2, and he has to concede. And the Red Bull into the lead. Lynx has another stop to do, but he's not giving it up yet. He's right on the back of the Red Bull, but he's not close enough to make a move. And the Ferrari having a little look on Montana into turn 4. But that's allowed the Williams to get right into the back of him. Just not close enough. Dylan and Axel battling away in 9th and 10th place. And they nearly shove each other off the road. And this is going to allow the McLaren to be right behind the both of them. But he's just not close enough to make a move. He looks to the outside, but it's not going to work for him. We're going to jump back up to Montana. He's just 2 tenths behind Lynx. He's on fresher tires. Lynx struggling on those 11-lap-old hards. Both of them have another stop to do. But Lynx inches ahead into turn 11, but he's gone a little bit deep. but I don't think that's going to allow Montana to get close enough to make the move. And while that's going on, Tom has pulled a 1 second gap, so he's broken the DRS, and he'll be looking to pull away and seal the deal on the victory. You don't want to say that with 17 laps to go, but he's definitely in a good position right now. Connor making up grounds into 11th place, and Montana's just 4/10 behind now. Lynx gets a bit loose on those Warren Hards. Montana puts his battery into overtake. Lynx doesn't have DRS to defend with, and we're gonna ride on board with Montana. He looks right, he looks left, and he pulls to the left-hand side, and he goes through into 2nd place. And the Williams making the move on the Ferrari as well. They're gonna go side by side into the first couple of corners, side by side again through turn 2. They make a bit of contact, and the Williams goes off the road, as does the Ferrari. And Piccone into 5th place. He gets overtaken by the Renault there of Black Box, and a bit of foul play from those two drivers there. I don't think anybody got damaged, which is good to see. Connor making up grounds in 9th place. Of course, he does have another pit stop to do on those 3-lap-old mediums. Cucumber on the back of Axel as well, as they come through turn 8. And Yano is making up some grounds into 11th. Montana on that fresher rubber, not fresher rubber, but on a softer compound, is back within the DRS of Tom. Of course, he does have another stop to do, so he needs to make up the time now, or else he's not going to make it up later on when he pits. And Black Box has gotten through on his teammate. But these two will be battling for the lead out of the final corner. He's just 4/10 behind, and you can see the grip advantage. He has the DRS, and he sets the fastest lap of the race in the process, but it's immediately taken away by Black Box, and he goes to the right, but he lifts off and he stays behind. But once he's got the DRS, he's gonna go for it, and that was fantastic, but he's gone a little bit deep, and the Red Bull will get the cut back now in the run up to turn 4. We're gonna ride on board with the Red Bull. Montana swerves to defend, and that was a brilliant overtake. He waited to make the move, he lifted off and stayed side by side so he could get the DRS, and then once he got the DRS, he went down the inside to make the move, and that was simply a 200 IQ play. He outsmarted Tom, and now he should be able to pull out of the DRS on that softer rubber. Don't count anybody out of the race just yet, as the whole entire field separated by 11 seconds. Connor in 7th place, but the net race leader is Tom, of course, and net P2 is actually the Williams, who's in 5th place, and net P3 is Linus. And Montana has pulled 1 second, and it's 1 second and 1/10, so if Tom doesn't use his battery, then Montana is gone, and he has broken the DRS. Now Tom doesn't have DRS to defend with, but Black Box is right on his tail as they come out of the final corner. He's got the DRS, he's just 2/10 behind. He's in the slipstream. Which way is he gonna go? He looks to the right, and he pulls alongside, and he's ahead into the braking zone. He pulls back onto the racing line, and he's up into 2nd place. Starting to settle down a little bit now as we hit lap 15, just past the halfway point. We're just gonna have a look at some details, as Black Box has a 3-second time penalty. I didn't notice that, and that's gonna be big towards the end of the race. Of course, 3 seconds added to his final race time. Cucumber has a penalty, and Fire Cop actually has a 5-second penalty. And everybody's done a 1-stop. Marsh has done a 2-stop. There's yellows, and the Racing Points have crashed. The two teammates, and there is some front wing flying around, and it looks like they might have crashed into each other intentionally. Oh no, Yazzo's disconnected. So maybe his AI car hit him. I'm not sure. But teammates coming together. Lynx has made his stop. Now he's in last, but he's gonna try and fight back and cut his way back into the points. But it's Montana who leads, from Black Box, who has another stop to do, from Tom, who's in the net race lead, and Fire Cop and Stefano, the two McLaren teammates, battling away. And what's happened? The Williams has spun out at turn 3. Oh no! He was in such a good position. He was in a net P2. He was in 5th place, and he had a podium in sight, but he spun on the exit at turn 3, and now he's down into 10th place. And that is very, very unfortunate for the Williams. But maybe this sparks a battle between him and Axel. They will fight away for 9th place, I'm sure. Link's going purple through the first sector. He's already gaining back some time that he lost. And he's right on the back of the racing point. I think Jake might have some damage when he came together with his teammate. We're gonna have a look. I don't see an end plate missing. And there goes the Renault to the right hand side, and he pulls back over to the racing line, up in 14th place. Tom in the net race lead just needs to stay patient. He doesn't need to attack the top two because one of them has a penalty and they both have to pit. Tom just needs to keep it clean. He's 2 seconds clear of net P2, and Axel, who's in a net P3, is behind his teammate. The two Ferraris will scrap away for the podium, and there goes Piccioni on Axel into turn 1. And Axel is not close enough to fight back. But this battle should heat up. The two Ferraris scrapping away for net P2. And Cucumber behind as well, has another stop to do. We'll probably go to another set of mediums or perhaps the softs. Mediums would be best. Black Box now putting the pressure on Montana as the gap is just 6/10. And Axel close behind the Williams as well. And he has a look into turn 11, but he's not close enough to get the move. But the battle's not done yet, because he will have the DRS coming down the main straight. We're going to jump back up to the front. Black Box in the DRS. He has more battery than Montana. Montana doesn't really have any to defend with, and his red light's blinking. And this is the time for Black Box to make the overtake. He looks to the left. And he looks to the right, and down the inside into turn 1, late on the brakes, and he takes the lead. Montana's going to try and get the cut back, but Black Box maintains the lead, and Montana now into 2nd place. They both have another stop to do, and Black Box has a 3-second time penalty. Axel gaining on his teammate as well. He's taking a couple of tenths out of him per lap, and they might not know it yet, but this is the battle for the podium, because the top two still have another stop to do. Montana definitely not going to give up in 2nd place. He's not going to let Black Box pull away. He's going to stay close behind, and he's probably actually going to pit this lap, if he's going to pit at all. And Axel has made the move into turn 8 on the Williams as well. And he gets up into 9th place, but the battle's not done yet. Axel takes a chunk of curb into turn 10. This is going to allow Piccioni to be right on the back of him. He looks off the track. He's gone all 4 wheels off. And that would have been an illegal overtake. I would have think so. But he actually has conceded the position. And he's going to stay behind for now. But he's right on the back of Axel. He stays behind. But back up the front, Montana is right on the back of Black Box. Black Box comes into the pits. So it's hammer time now for Montana. This is going to have to be a great in-lap if he wants to undercut Black Box. He has the tires to do it, but I'm not sure if he has the battery. He just needs to push on and hope that he can do it. And this promotes Tom into 2nd, Linus into 3rd, Axel into 4th. Axel right on the back of his teammate now. He only has 8% battery, which isn't enough to attack. Linus only has 10% as well. So they will be scrapping away for the podium. Axel still behind the Williams into turn 4. And he stays behind. I want these two to get going. I want them to start battling because this is for second place. Even though they're teammates, it is a team's championship, I believe, so they might not actually be teammates. He's in the DRS right now. And Yano is doing great, says Soccer Pound in the comment section. He's in 7th place. And let's have a look at where everybody started in this race. Position change. Tom started in 3rd. He's up into 2nd, but that is the net race lead. And Yano has actually made a great start. He started in 13th. Now he's up into 7th place. So he is doing great. Connor, who started in 12th, is in 6th. And there goes Montana. He's into the pits. And unfortunately, I don't think he'll be able to fight back in this race. The pit stop takes a bit too long. And Axel right on the back of his teammate now. The gap is just 2/10. He's right under his wing as they come through turn 3. And I don't think he's close enough to make an attack into turn 4. He's not, but he is in the DRS. So don't count him out. Connor has another stop to do. He is in 4th place. Yano's in a net P4, so don't count him out on the podium. If the top 3 get a bit feisty, then he could pick up the places, pick up the pieces, and secure himself a podium. Lynx just 1/10 behind Montana, and Montana has got the undercut, or maybe the overcut actually, on Lynx. He's already starting to pull away marginally, and Montana has a little bit of traffic here. He's going to need to clear the McLaren as soon as he can to catch the Haas and the Renault. And he's going to go down the inside into turn 9. And that's not really an overtaking opportunity, but he went for it and he made it stick. And Lynx is also right on the back of the McLaren as well. He pulls to the left-hand side. And he goes for it. And he's through into 12th place. And Axel up in the front. He's in the DRS of his teammate. I don't know when he's going to go for it. He doesn't have a ton of battery, but his teammate doesn't have any battery really either. And he's gaining now in the slipstream, in the DRS. Cucumber picks up a 3-second time penalty. Connor comes into the pit lane. But once again, Axel just working with his teammate, trying to catch the Red Bull, and he doesn't go for the overtake. As there is some position change as a driver comes into the pits, and there goes Black Box on Fire Cop, and he's up into 7th place. I don't know when these two are going to start battling, but it's got to be soon because there is only 9 laps to go, including this. And where is Montana? He's already up into 9th, but the drivers in front have penalties, so that's 7th. But if he has the pace, he can maybe even get back up into the top 5. Lynx just 3/10 behind Dylan on the fresher rubber, on the softer tires, and he goes for it into turn 9. They're going to go side by side. The Haas isn't going to give it up too easily, and he's going to do the old switcheroo. He doesn't have the DRS in the run up to turn 11, but he will have the slipstream, and the battle's not done yet, but unfortunately he has to concede, and he's into 11th place with a penalty out of the points. Detail, put it on tires for you in the comments to have a look. Axel still staying behind, 0% battery, so not ideal ERS management, but Linus only has 10% as well. Black Box hits the fastest lap of the race, but it's immediately taken away by Montana, and Montana's right on the back of Fire Cop, and he's going to go for it into turn 1. He pulls back over to the racing line, and he's up into 8th place. And Pachoni, the Williams, right on the back of Yano as well. He's going to go for it into turn 4, down the inside, late on the brakes, but the Red Bull is going to do the old switcheroo, and he's going to fight him back in the run up to turn 5, but he doesn't get the power down early enough to challenge. And that promotes the Williams up into 4th place, and this battle is far from over. This is going to be the battle for 4th place. They don't want to lose too much time because Black Box and Montana are catching at a rapid rate. Axel as well is only 1.3 seconds behind as well. Dylan. He's gonna go for it here on the McLaren, down the inside into turn 10, and we've seen a few moves into that corner throughout the last couple of laps, and there goes Black Box on Axel into turn 11 on those fresh, soft tires, and he's up into 6th place. He does have a 3-second time penalty, but he might be able to break away from Axel just because he has such a tire advantage. Yano has dropped 6/10 this lap to Piccioni, so not ideal. Piccioni showing some good pace, having made the overtake. Yano will have the DRS, they both are low on the battery. I don't think DRS alone is going to be enough, and it's not. He is gaining, but not enough, and he stays behind. Connor is going for it on the Haas as well into turn 1, and there goes the McLaren as well. They're 3 wide into turn 1. The McLaren looks up the inside, and they're gonna go side by side. The Haas having to go off the track slightly. He cuts off Stefano, and he's up into 12th place. Fire Cop has been overtaken by Lynx, and McLaren is too far back to challenge on Dylan. Black Box now 3/10 behind Yano. He's on fresher tires. He has a 3-second time penalty, but he could pull 3 seconds if he can get through. And he has a good run here. He has more battery than both of them. And we are definitely going to see some action into turn 1 with these three being so close to each other. And this is the battle for 4th place right now. Ferrari's still staying clean, not really battling each other. Black Box just 1/10 behind the Red Bull. He had a little look up the inside into turn 12. And the Williams runs slightly wide on this occasion. He moves to break the toe, so does Yano. And we are going to see some action into turn 1 now, as all three of these drivers come out at turn 15. The Renault right on the back of the Red Bull of Yano, and he's gaining on him. They're all following each other in the train, and we're going to run aboard with the Renault. He goes to the left-hand side. The Williams closes the door. He can't brake as late as he would have liked. They're going to go side by side into the first turn. The Renault has the outside line into turn 1, which switches to the inside into turn 2. And he's right on the back of Williams now as well. Montana right on the back of Yano. He's going to go all the way, the long way around into turn 4, but he does the cutback. The Red Bull goes deep, and a fantastic overtake for Montana. He looked like he was going to go round the outside, but he did the cutback. He forced the Red Bull to go deep, and he went right underneath him up into 6th place. And now this battle is starting to heat up. And this is some fantastic action going on. Black Box looking for the move on the Williams of Piccioni. Taking a bit too much curb into turn 10. But he has the slipstream now. He has 20% battery. And the DRS, of course, is enabled, as there is some red lights flashing. I think that's Montana. No, it's not Montana. He has 30% battery. And once again, we're going to see a bit more action into the first turn with all 4 of these drivers within a second. Black Box right on the back of the Williams, but he doesn't want to overtake him because he's going to get the DRS. He actually doing a bit of lifting and coasting, maybe to save a bit more fuel, a bit more battery. And that red light is the indication that the Williams is low on battery. He's going to pull to the left-hand side, and there goes the Alfa Romeo as well. Montana 3 wide. He goes up the middle, and he splits both of them down the inside into turn 1. He's going to have the outside into turn 2 because the the Renault stays in front, but this battle isn't done yet, as we have a great view in the run-up to turn 4. There goes the Alfa Romeo. The Williams has a look as well, but he gets forced off the road, and there goes Montana all the way around the outside of turn 4. They're side by side. He gets a bit loose. He's not giving it up. They're going to go side by side through here, but Montana backs out, and the Renault of Black Box stays ahead, but the battle's not done yet. There goes Montana to the left-hand side, all the way around the outside into turn 8, but he doesn't have the traction to stay ahead. And he's going to go for it here into turn 9. He stays behind, but the battle is far from over. He will have the DRS here, and those mediums should start to kick in and become the better tire. We're going to ride on board. He has 16% battery, but not enough to justify an overtake. But he will have the DRS down the back straight. Black Box does have a penalty. Montana wants to get it done on track, as we've seen before. And don't count the Williams out, or the Red Bull actually, or even the AlphaTauri. All 4 of them are in the fight. They're all in the mix for 4th place, especially with that penalty from Black Box. as he goes slow on the entry to get the exit and try and hold up Montana as much as he can. But I don't think it's going to be enough. Montana pulls to the left-hand side, and he goes through. And the Williams right in the slipstream as well. He's going to pull to the inside. Who's going to be last of the late breakers? It's not the Williams, it is Montana. And the Williams on the hard tires doing a fantastic job to even stick with these guys right now. In the run up to turn 4, the Williams has a look, but he's not close enough to make the move. Make sure if you're in the stream to like the video and subscribe to the channel. It really does help out. And Connor's right on the back of Lynx as well through turn 7, and he goes to the inside and he looks for the overtake, and the Renault has to back out of that one, but he's going to do the old switcheroo, and that's going to turn to the outside line. It's turn 9, they're side by side, and they actually make a bit of contact on the entry, but it looks like Connor has maintained that 9th place, but the battle's not done yet. But of course, we are going to jump back up to the front. Axel now 5/10 behind his teammate. They're not battling as much as I would have anticipated. Maybe they are just because they're teammates, they don't want to scrap away. Maybe Axel is pushing, but he just doesn't have the pace. He doesn't have a lot of battery, and he's just not gaining enough to make a move. He has 0%, which is the last thing you want to see as a driver. They're both gaining on the Red Bull as well. Tom is in the lead. Montana's 11 seconds behind, but I don't think he's going to catch them with only 3 laps to go. He's going to be the fastest car on track, though, with those tires. So it's starting to settle down a little bit. Yano was in 4th at one point, but now he's in 7th, and he fell to the likes of the Williams and the 2 drivers, Montana and Black Box, who were on fresher, softer tires. But it's not done yet for Yano. He can still make a dent in the race. Axel behind him as well. 6 of the top 8 are on 18-lap-old hards, which have got to be screaming right now. They're going to be worn so much, and they're also going to be quite hot under the lights of Bahrain. It is a night race, so the track is quite hot, which makes the tires overheat just a little bit. I don't know if Piccioni is in the DRS of the car in front. I don't think he is. One thing I've noticed riding on board with Yano, he shifts through the gears quite interesting. He brakes and then he downshifts really fast, and then he flickers through the gears while he's downshifting. He does a little upshift and then a downshift again. And it seems to be working for him. He's gaining on the Williams now, but I don't think it's going to be enough to justify a move unless he does an absolute send, which he doesn't. But he will have to run down to turn 4. But I don't think he's going to be close enough on this occasion. Connor is gaining on these drivers as well on those newer soft tires, and it's gonna come down to the last lap between these 4, because Connor is just within the DRS now on that fresher rubber. It's going to be a 4-way battle for 6th place, and potentially even 5th with that penalty from Black Box if his tires drop off. And at the front, this is going to be Axel's last possible opportunity to make the move for P2 against his teammate. His teammate's 8/10 ahead. But I'm not sure if he's going to be able to do it. He's going to need a mistake from his teammate. He's going to need to put the pressure on. But again, he's just not close enough. And with the battery that he has, almost 0%, he's just not going to make the move. Linus 1.4 behind Tom. And we head on to the final lap of this race. It's been a pleasure to commentate, but it's not done yet. Axel's gaining on his teammate, but not enough to justify an overtake. But we're gonna stick where the action is, because these 4 all within a couple of tenths between these 4 drivers, all within a couple of tenths, and we head on to the final lap of the race. Yano in the slipstream of the Williams. And all 4 of these drivers come down the main straightaway now, and there goes the AlphaTauri. Axel down the inside, and Connor makes a move on the Red Bull as well. And I think that might have been a double overtake if he could make it stick, but he hasn't. But he's got the cutback, and he has the outside into turn 3, and they're going to be side by side in the run down to turn 4. 1 sector on the last lap of the Bahrain Grand Prix, and now he's only 2.4 seconds behind Black Box, who has a 3-second penalty. And what a first sector that was. 4 overtakes from Connor. He's on a charge right now, and he's not done yet because he's only 2.5 behind. And URL Black Box has a 3-second penalty, but this battle isn't done yet. Yano's gaining on the Williams, but he's not close enough. Axel is 4/10 behind as well. Yano just 2/10 behind now. But we're gonna jump back up to the front because Tom is gonna come across the line. He's done a fantastic race, and he's gonna win the Bahrain Grand Prix, followed by 2 Ferraris, and then Montana will come home in 4th. But this battle's not done yet. And who's ran wide? Axel's ran wide. And Black Box actually has had a spin, and there's some damage flying there. Black Box has picked up a 10-second penalty. I have no idea what's happened. He's lost a bit of front wing, and it's fireworks to the end of the race, and Black Box spins across the line. And I'm not sure what happened there, but that was a very, very exciting race, and especially that last lap. What a spectacular sequence of corners for Connor. He made up 4 overtakes in just 4 corners, and that was fantastic. Does he have a puncture? Black Box might have a puncture. It looks like his rear left isn't in great shape. Yeah, he does have a puncture on his rear right, that is. So that's what's happened. Black Box picked up a puncture, and he fell out of the points into 12th place. And that was a great race. Driver of the day from the game to Connor. And I think that 4 overtakes in the last lap had to do it. He made a double overtake into turn 1, and then he picked up the move into turn 4, and it was fantastic. As Tom, on the top step of the podium, he wins in Bahrain in style, and the 2 Ferraris pick up the 2-3. They'll be happy with that one. Montana leaves the session after a mediocre race, and Tom will be happy with that one. I'm not sure if he has a victory in this league before, but he's just picked up a victory today. He finishes in 1st, and the fastest lap goes to Cucumber, who's in 10th. He'll pick up a couple of points. And that was a fantastic race. We saw some brilliant racing. We saw some brilliant racecraft. We saw some great overtakes. We saw some collisions. We saw a puncture on the last lap. And that will do it just about for the Bahrain Grand Prix. It's a TTG 1-2. Red Bull of Tom wins the race, followed by Linus in 2nd in the Ferrari, followed by the Ferrari teammate in 3rd of Axel. Montana coming home in 4th place. He qualified on pole. He did the 2-stop, and he does manage to fight back and finish in 4th. Connor finishes in 5th from 12th. Not a bad result at all. The Williams of Piccioni finishes in 6th. Yeno in 7th. Axel in 8th. Lynx, who started in 11th, finishes 9th. And Cucumber, who started 4th, rounds out the top 10. And that was a very great race. Make sure, if you haven't already, to like the video and subscribe to the channel. This is my channel. It's not the BBB channel, because we couldn't get the stream set up. So it would be greatly appreciated if you would subscribe. It would help me out massively. I will be posting a wider variety of videos, including some sim racing equipment reviews, as well as some onboards maybe with the new motion simulator. And that will just about do it for the stream. Thank you everybody for watching. It was a pleasure to commentate. I really enjoyed it, and we'll see you next